You can also, privately text to the parents to join us, so that perhaps there will be Q&A that will address to you or me. That would be fine. Mhm.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today and debating pep talk with NSDC gold medalist. Today we have Miss Daisy, and after this we'll have Mr. Fallon. Mr. C and Mr. Fallon is going to give some speech regarding NSDC and debating. Um, as you please, Miss Daisy.
Okay, thank you very much, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really nice. Well, today I'm very happy because I can meet you all, to give you pep talk. Okay, so to strengthen that you are on the right track if you join English debating community in SMA 70. Okay, so there will be many benefits that you can earn if you join the program. Well, actually, I want to tell you a bit about my experience, why I fall in love with debating. Um, Started from the year of 2000, when I accompanied my student in my previous school for debating competition in University of Indonesia. Since then, I realized that debating actually will change people's perspective of many things. People not only our students at that time not only think about something or about everything that they learn from the class, but they also think wider. Okay, not only narrow, with specific subjects only, but they also have wider knowledge, wider perspective, and they are more, you know, tolerant, and it will debating also make people more understand, other culture than ours. Uh, at that time, we achieve we've got many achievements started from the year of 2002, but one of that opened the gate of um, the debating society in our school at that time was when one of the students, Taufik Ramadan Indra Kusuma, was appointed as the delegation of WSDC in 2005 in Calgary, Canada. So that's the starting point that, well, this is something important that, I have to accompany the student. I have to, give them strengthen that this is the right activities. So starting from that, again and again, we earn many achievements. Like in 2000 and in 2009, another student, Irfan Prawira Dinata, also represent Indonesia for ASDC, Asian Schools Debating Championship in Manila, and also WSDC in Doha, Qatar. And then uh, after that, I become the vice principals in other school in Spanu MH Tamrin. So I wasn't in charge in schools debating championship in province level because I was a bit busy as a vice principal at that time. But unfortunately, for Jakarta delegates at that time, since then, become we didn't achieve anything in 2 years or 3 years championship. Then started in 2013. I tried to involve as the supervisors in province level. And then I thought at that time there was something wrong in recruiting the kids. So that's why in 2014, when I was in charge as the supervisor, I tried to do my best to recruit the students and also to give training. And again, we raised up again in 2014. We earned the the second the third. Yeah, we won the as the third. So we've got bronze medals at that time. And then in 2015 also we also got a bronze medal. And then in 2016 we've got silver medals. And in 2018 also we got um, silver medals. And 2019 we've got the first gold for DKI Jakarta. And then in 2020 we've got the second gold. But this year in 2020, it's not only as the champion, but all the speakers got gold medals. Okay, as gold medalists. So congratulations, Rachel, Daisel, and also Jeremiah. Well, this year is really special. Why? Because it's pandemic, so it the competition is done online. So I don't know. Later on, Rachel will tell us what's the difference between when you do it online or when you do it offline. Okay. Um, well, before this, I mean, last year or the previous year, we we have prepare the delegates like 40 meetings. Well, actually, from DKI Jakarta, we are given only 10 until 15 meetings, but I think that's not enough. So I always make it like 40 meetings or 45 meetings. So and sometimes I've got very limited budget for it. I've got very limited fund, but well, we try to find some fun for the best. So thank God with the God always help us. I don't know, the sources are from many people, including from NGMP, English Teachers Association in DKI Jakarta. So well, actually, I'm in charge as the vice uh, chief of English Teachers Association in DKI Jakarta. Well, in SMA 70, I tried to introduce a debating community in 2018 when I was moved by the government to SMA 70 Jakarta. And I thought at that time, uh, the students actually are very potential. Most of them are clever. Most of them, they're hard workers. So I thought that SMA 70 also will be the best if they are given the same opportunity like what I did in the previous schools. Okay. Then I still remember when Rachel and also, what is it, the debaters in Rachel's batch at that time was very you know, um, they are so simple. They only can talk like in 2 or 3 minutes only. But then I always tell them, if you want to change your perspective, you can practice a lot, and the most important thing is you read a lot. When you read a lot, you've got many perspective on this. So here we are. This is the best achievement that we have, not only for SMA 70, but also for the province. Okay, this is the highest rank that we earn so far. So I thank you very much for these three heroes. Okay,
Yes.
and not not only until that level, but we also contribute for LDBE. Well, as you know, for the LDBE, we don't have candidates for the speakers, for debaters for LDBE, for Indonesian versions of NSDC. But thank God, since we train more than not only three students from SMA 70. So the other three can contribute for LDBE. And I do really hope that in the future, SMA 70, it's not only stop at this level, but this is the beginning. And thank God also that Rachel will continue for um, WSDC. So it's like my dream, that as I told you, I've got a previous student in 2005, and then 2009 and 10, and then after that we have uh, delegates from Jakarta who represent WSDC or from private schools, but now we have from public schools. So I do hope after Rachel's speech, the kids or the students can want to join the program. Okay, they'll you will get many benefits when you learn this. Um, there are many scholarship that which is offered by Rachel. If you want to grab it, you can go to, just name it, any university you want. Um, itu enaknya if you earn achievement in NSDC and also WSDC. So I do really hope that this is the starting point. Habis ini SMA 70 akan bangkit terus ya. Bukan cuma NSDC-nya aja, MUN-nya juga, semuanya. Everything kita akan raise terus. Seperti itu. Oke,
Okay. Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Kayaknya itu aja. Thank you, makasih. Udah
Yes.
banyak banget saya lama.
Now we call upon Mr. Fallen.
Yes.
Yes. As you please, Mr. Fallen.
Okay. Good afternoon, Bu Desi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the time and opportunity given. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of the gold medalists. Thank you for your hard work and contribution, and for everyone who have decided to take part or to join this pep talk. I believe it's going to be a good chance for you to know what is going on or what's happening behind the stage of this debating competition and everything. So hopefully there are several things that you can learn. There are several things that you can apply not only in um, your debating plan, but also in other things or aspects in your life. Yeah, that will be all for me. Hope everyone can have a good time. Everyone can enjoy this session, and everyone can learn something from here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Fallen, for your opening speech. Thank you for your appreciation. Now we're going to move on to a little explanation regarding NSDC first in terms of technicality, and then we're going to immediately move on to my topic. And then after that, there's going to be Jeremiah's topic. And then lastly, but there will be Dazzle's topic on NSDC. Um, so what's NSDC? So basically, NSDC is a non-official competition held by the government. The only official competition, it's like FL's 2N, it's like Olympiade, it's like other kinds of tests that the government make. Why is it so important? It's because usually universities like PTN, like Universitas Indonesia, UGM, UNPAD, and all that are looking to look up to the certificates from official governmental competitions. For example, something that is nationals. This is held by Puspresnas or Pusat Prestasi Nasional under Kemendikbud. So this is very much official. And this is the only official government debating tournament in English after LDBI or Lomba Debat Bahasa Indonesia, which you can participate in if you cannot be selected for NSCC. But then winning NSDC will be a huge influence in your life since you can use the certificate to apply and consider a lot of university. I myself consider myself going to Binus University because I might get a 100% scholarship if I use this certificate. But there will be tests and interviews that will be also really beneficial if you join and like practice debating, since interview is also part of public speaking and whatnot. Moreover, I cannot say that this will be a huge benefit or benefactor in getting to universities because there are also other metrics such as your scores and then also other metrics, probably the title that you get. Maybe if you get second place or you get bronze medal, it won't be as a really good. And we all know that SNMPTN is confusing and it's a part of miracle and it's not something that we can count on. So we still have to study for SBMPTN, but NSDC certificate will obviously give you a lot of opportunities since you also will get to know a lot of debaters and other adjudicators from provincial level that are as good as you. Other than that, NSCC is a one stepping stone from World Schools Debating Championship that Ms. Desi mentioned to you. This is an international level of NSCC, so you'll be competing with other countries and delegations from countries, and you will be coached for few months before competing, and you will be selected from the 15 best speaker. So even though I got the second best speaker in NSCC this year, I still have to go through selection with other people from 15 best speaker because I have to prove my dedication and whatnot that I'm going to explain after this. So selection procedure for COVID was you have to present a first speaker's speech video. You can look up to later. I will give you the link. There will be two rounds. First round will be you'll be speaking as prime minister, and then the second round you'll be speaking as leader of opposition, and you have to rebut a video. And then you will be selected in provincial level. There will be top 10 best speaker of each province, and then the top 3 will represent each province. And in DKI Jakarta, there is Dazzle, Jeremiah, and I got the second best speaker, Jeremiah got third, and Dazzle got the first best speaker. So we represented Jakarta for NSDC. And then we trained only for like 7 weeks or less because the amount of time that only we had was about 1 month, and from that time period we only practiced on weekends, and on weekdays we practice independently with each other and read things and whatnot. But I want to also explain our improvement graphic, because understand that even though Dazzle is a 10th grader, he can be really good because he started earlier. That is, he started from junior high school. So I can divide this into 3 years period of debating. So in the first year period of your debating, that means that you're still in the 10th grade. Your improvement will be kind of stagnant, like over here. It's because you are still trying to adapt with debating, you're trying to adapt with the structure, with informations, with practicing. That means that you cannot absorb as much as possible information, even though Kak Leon and I have already explained so many things to you, right? And then in the second year, you will have like a major improvement. That means in your 11th grade, because you now have a grip on debating, you have more things to understand, you at least understand the framework of debating, the strategy and whatnot, so you are more able to absorb information. That's why uh, Jere and I applied for a second year of NSDC. We know that we are more matang in this case, so that we can try and give it a shot. Gitu. And then the last year, or 12th grade, which is my grade, is the peak of your debating. That's to say, all of your hard work and everything else will be shown in the last year of your school, because the accumulation of knowledge that you already have is already so really have already, like, the accumulation is already so much. That's to say, you will be going to NSDC on the 12th grade, but the selection to NSDC is on the 11th grade. Jadi kemarin saya seleksinya waktu kelas 11 akhir, lalu NSDC-nya kelas 12 gitu. Um, so if you feel like you're stagnant right now and you just want to quit debating because of that, I suggest not to, because it's normal. Just like anything else, at first we're going to be really stagnant, but in the end of the day, if we work really hard, then we will show major improvements in our debating, speech, and whatnot. But how do you get selected for NSCC and any competitions, right? So three things. Firstly, your dedication. That's to say, how much you commit and you dedicate to debating, your prioritization, and then your your presence. For example, how many time you join session practicing. Secondly, perseverance. That is your continued effort to do or achieve something despite any difficulties, failure, or any kinds of problems you're facing in debating. But thirdly, it's your improvement. That's to say, your receptibility to information, your application and implementation of constructive and feedback from your coaches and educators, and then the changes in your speech structure, improvement in your speaker scores, and whatnot. But these three have to work together. So you cannot just be selected for NSTC just because you're smart. You cannot be selected for NSTC just because you always come to practice, because you have to show your improvement. You have to show that you always dedicated and committed to NSTC, and you have to show that you're hardworking from your effort. Last year, or my first year of debating, I had to when I have to go through UI via train back and forth every week, 2 times a week, because Kak Leon cannot go to 70, then I have to go to UI to practice, and then I have to go home at 7 or 8 p.m. just to practice for NSDC. And this year we have to practice every night, and try to read as much as possible. So even though I'm not that smart and I'm not that good, even though there are other teammates of mine in debating that are smarter than me, because I'm more dedicated and more, I have put so much effort in practicing. So Kaleon chose me to be a delegation from 70, because in terms of my dedication and perseverance and also improvement. So yeah, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. Because debating is not an individual competition; it is a teamwork. And the best speaker title and their individual title is just a gift if you work really hard. But don't forget about your teammates, because there are the people who are able to give you the platform to work and to be a really good debater. Yeah, that's for NSDC technicalities and selection. Now I'm going to move on to my topic, which is about mental health. Because a lot of times we forget about our own good, our own mentality, our feelings, our emotions. And I'm going to explain to you how are we going to protect our mental health, how we find joy in debating regardless of how hard it is, and how do we protect and prevent any kinds of things. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm trying to present. Um, Also, if you have any questions, you can um, put it on the comment section, or if you want to, you can do it via the link that I give you in the group. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about three things. Firstly, I'm going to talk about why your mental health matters. Secondly, I'm going to talk about how to protect your mental health, and thirdly, I'm going to talk about how to find joy debating, regardless of the competitiveness and the stress we go through. But before that, what is mental health? I cited this from the mentalhealth.gov, so it's not my definition. Since I'm not an expert as well, you can look it up, research about it more. But basically, mental health is your emotional and psychological and social well-being. It's just like your physical well-being in the form of your emotions and your psychology and your social abilities. And a good mental state is when you're in a calm and content state that it allows you to enjoy your daily lives and be aware of your surroundings. But why mental health is important? Basically, because it affects your functionality, just like physical health. When you're injured, when your leg is broken, when you got flu or influenza or headache, you cannot function because you feel awful, you feel sick, and you just want to get rest, just eat medicine, eat soup, and whatnot. So mental health is not different at all. It determines how we handle stress. So when we're under a bad mental condition, we will handle our stress much more badly than when we're in a good mental condition, because we cannot prevent stress, but how we handle stress is determined by our mental state, for example. And it affects our brain, how we think, how we feel, how we act. So basically our self-esteem, and then our mindset. Is it negative or positive? While case building, when we found extremely hard motions, if we are under a bad mental state or condition, then we will tend to think negatively about it. We tend to feel down if we are not able in trying to case build or something. But how do you protect your mental health? So these are the preventive actions that I can talk about. Mainly, this is from my personal experience, but this is also source from many sources that I got from Instagram, from websites when I do research. Firstly, internally, you can learn about yourself, like your coping mechanism when you're stressed out. Uh, Usually, for me, it's painting and listening to classical music. I also listen to other music, but I found classical music is calming and it gives me tranquility and peace. So when I'm under stress, but it's to learn about yourself, about the things that you love and the things that you make you stressed out. So this can be used in debating, for example. When you are case building, you can kindly tell your friends or teammates, hi guys, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stressed out if you ask so many questions, because I need to think about it. And I'm also really stressed if you tell me so much points, because I cannot process any of it if you give me so much things like that. But secondly, it's to try and take care of yourself. Oh, okay. Sorry. So this is the slide that I was opening. I heard that my slide was not moving. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Basically, what if I get burnt out, regardless of the things that. Okay, how do you protect? I was study ID money. Oh, yeah. So basically, learn about yourself and learn about the things that you like and you hate. and try to pinpoint and do the things that you love instead of the things that you hate. But lastly, surround yourself with people that loves you and good people. You can cut them from your life. You can delete your social media, block them, ignore them, mute them, anything that you like. Recently, I unfollowed 900 people on my Instagram, and uh, actually, I deactivated my Instagram account since I feel like it's overwhelming. And then I block my friends that I don't really know in my second account, or I don't talk to people who are giving me bad vibes or are not supportive of my life and whatnot, because it's just important for my mental health. Sure, it's going to cut off some relationships that you care about, like your high school or junior high school relationship, your childhood friends. But if they're toxic, I suggest just try to find new people that's going to be supportive of you. But regardless of those, what if I still get burnt out because I cannot manage well? Firstly, you can talk about it with anybody. Usually for debating, I talk about it with Jeremiah and Dazzle. And for other things, I talk about with friends, my lovers, and then I talk about with my parents. But when I can't talk about it with anybody else, then I go to a psychologist. I will like link to you and the group later on different kinds of platforms that you can use. There's Ibunda, there's Relief, there's Pijar, and whatnot, that are able to give you free counseling or psychologists. But secondly, if you are really stressed out, just stop doing anything. Just stay still, lay down, and listen to music because it helps you calm down. But thirdly, it's just to go back to activities or hobbies that used to make you happy. For me, it was painting. I haven't painted in like years, and I tried to go back to it, and it actually gives me really um, a peaceful state that I didn't know that I could have. Maybe you can explore your hobbies even more, explore what you like, writing, for example, or something like that. Especially in debating, yeah, you have to have balance and you cannot just practice all the time. You have to strategize your mental state and mental well being also. But with debate, extracurricular, school, and organizations, how do I do all that, Ka? How do I have time to do meditation? How do I find time to explore my hobbies and whatnot? For me, what I do is that I realize that why I don't have time is because of procrastination. And procrastination is not because of lack of time management, it's because of the lack of emotional um, and mental management. Like I don't feel like studying because I hate studying. I don't like the subject, for example, or I dislike the teacher, or it's because I feel like I'm scared of getting a bad score. Then I don't want to study and whatnot. I cannot explain so much about it since we have a limited time. So I suggest for you guys to watch some videos from some YouTube channels. They are more established than me. Their explanation makes more sense. You can screenshot this, but I'll also send the PowerPoint later. Is there's Mat Dafela, there's Ali Abdals, Hazahid something something. He's from Indonesia. I forgot his long name. There's Andrew Kirby. There's Better Ideas. These are the people inside study tube, or they study and they like make YouTube contents about studying and procrastination, productivity. You might want to look up for that. But lastly, how do you find joy in debating? For me, it's to find my inspiration. These are the people that inspire me the most, because sometimes I relate when we cannot improve or we're stagnant. Then and I feel like I don't give so much achievements. I keep losing competitions. I keep losing any kinds of achievements that I might get if I'm better, or I keep comparing myself to other people and feel bad about myself and have a low self-esteem in terms of debating. So there's Scott Leon. Obviously, you know, she's really amazing. She's really dedicated and really smart. There's also Kakara. Kakara is also from UI. You can look her up in the YouTube. In YouTube, Kara UI, Elsa UI. Um, I forgot what year, but you can look up for her and her video. In this specific photo, she was giving a speech about law, and it was really amazing, and that inspired me really to really work hard and be like her. But second of all, there's these two guys. It's Fanel and Boseo. They're from Harvard. subjectively and objectively, they're the best debaters ever. And they were the winner of World University Debating Championship 2016. Before competitions, I usually watch their videos because it helps me calm myself. And these people, Kakaraka, Leon, Fanel, and Boseo, are the debaters that I look up to, and I try to imitate their style. So that I know my goal is to be similar to them. When I don't look similar or I don't sound similar, then I need to keep working really hard to sound like them. Not necessarily copy pasting everything, it's just different styles and different ways of debating that I try to imitate and put to my style of debating. But how inspiration helps, right? It's to give you a picture of what you want to be in the future. Maybe I want to look like Kakara, and my style will be like Kakaleon, or like my speech will sound like Bose or something like that. And this correlates with my last topic, which is the art of comparing yourself. Because I understand that we cannot stop comparing ourselves regardless. So the way in making sure you're comparing yourself in the right way is to master the art of comparing yourself. That's to say, okay, Dazzle is a 10th grader and he's already really good in debating compared to me. I am the 12th grader and I have to go through so much things, and I even know lesser than him. So the comparison will not be oh, he's my junior, he's supposed to know less or something like that. But if it doesn't know A, B, C, D, then I only know A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, then I have to learn the D from Dazzle, for example. So it's not just comparing different things about or selective things, but comparing like the nuance of it. I compare myself with other debaters my age. Oh, like Jere, for example, he has a really good diction. His grammar is outstanding. Then what I do is not to compare myself and look down up to myself, but to look up to him and try to imitate and try to learn from him. That is mastering of the heart, the comparing yourself. Or you compare to your friends. Comparatively, your improvement is not that good, right? What you can do is ask them, how do you improve? As simple as that, right? So you don't have to think so much about it. You don't have to think about so much comparison when you can do it and you can master the art of comparing yourself. So to close this topic, I think I have a little quote from the book that I really like. It's the things you can see only when you slow down. This is something to do with mental health, I feel like, and we're also yeah, mental health. This is, we know the world only through the window of our mind. When our mind is noisy, the world is as well noisy. And when our mind is peaceful, the world is also peaceful. Knowing our mind is just as important as trying to change the world. So, yeah, I think that's all from my topic. If you have any questions, you can put down on chat below, or you can put it on the link that I've already sent you in the group. Thank you, guys. Now we'll move on to Jeremiah's topic, I believe. Is Jere here? Jeremiah, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Should I start now?
Hello,
Yeah, yeah.
Jere.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm audible. Hello.
Okay. Okay, are you going to have a presentation or something like that? You have to share screen?
Yep.
Okay, okay. All participants. Okay, coba try to.
Okay.
Great, great, great.
Yeah. All right. Uh, Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Sure.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait. I think the connection is a bit laggy. Can you hear me?
Clear. Loud and
Clear,
clear.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Jeremiah. Very clear.
Okay. Okay, Miss Desi. Hello everyone. Please introduce myself. My name is Jeremiah. I'm from SMA in Jakarta, and I'm also one of the NSDC teams from Jakarta. Today, I'm going to talk about my own progress in debating, how to become better, and how to believe in yourself and how to set goals or set expectations for yourself.
Jera, you're a bit like
This
now.
pandemic. Okay, okay, wait. I think I have to move. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're still audible. It's just tadi robotic.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Tadi kepotong di mana?
Your introduction say like who you are and what you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, today I'm going to talk about progress and how do you balance the academic life with debating, especially under the context of, having PJJ and having all this learning become online. Yeah. So, to discuss, I'm going to talk about three things. First, which is about my personal progress in debating. Secondly, how can you actually progress in debating? And lastly, about balancing the academic life with debating in of itself. So, let's jump to my first topic, which is my personal progress in debating. Wait, I can't see. Okay, so talking about personal progress, let's talk about the competitions and speaker positions that I've been in. Throughout the debating journey, I started debating as a first and second speaker. My first competition was actually in BINUS Ecom, which was very bad competition for me because I joined debating firstly because in my previous school, in grade 9, I joined a debate competition, and apparently I was lucky and I was able to win. That's why I thought that, okay, I think giving another shot for debate in high school is something that's going to be fun. But I didn't know that the systems were a bit different. That's why like my speeches were really bad and only lasted for around 3 to 4 minutes, and out of 7 minutes that was actually required. But throughout the journey, I've also joined several competitions such as ALSA, Compact, like also SMAC 1 Penabur competition, and lastly, I joined NSDC. Well, throughout the process, to be honest, I've never even broke in a competition. I think it's because there were no like strong teams that were consistent. Like sometimes our group member changed gradually because of organization needs and all those things. That's why they were never like this really strong team. So really in NSDC, it was a really huge achievement and it was a really huge improvement because I was able to boost my speech from the typical 5 to 6 minutes of under time speeches to being able to have 8 minutes and 20 second speeches that's also concise and that's also compact in its matter strategy and all those stuff. So that's talking about my previous experience. But then talking about how do I actually fix and how do I actually become better, or a few things that I can tell you on how can you actually become better. Firstly, you can actually become better by reading. I think that you want to become informed. So you want to read the news or issues that's currently happening. And in debating, because the strategy is also counted, you want to have as much vocabulary as possible. That's why it's great for you if you love to read novels or fan fiction, such as like Wattpad or all those stuff. You can actually like read these kinds of things to actually enhance your vocabulary, which you can use in debating. Like if you like K-pop, you can like read these kinds of fan fictions about K-pop, and usually there's this like sophisticated kinds of vocabularies you can actually use. You can also, secondly, you can also watch. So because you want to get yourself informed, you want to watch news videos, such as, for example, the current election, or you also want to read about stories and infographics that are very much free and accessible, such as in Vox, like TEDx, or even if you want to subscribe to certain news channel, I think it's very great because like you can get insight on, for example, the Israel-Palestine conflict. You want to get insight on, for example, the U.S. Voting system and all those stuff. You can actually get these kinds of resources accessibly and free in YouTube, for example. But also, if you are more of a visual person, in order for you to enhance your vocabulary, you can like watch certain movies and like watch even like Netflix and all those stuff to actually enhance your vocabulary and become better. Other than getting yourself informed, what's also important is also for you to take notes. So the kind of note that we used in NSDC and also like I also used in many opportunities is that I make a note in Microsoft Word or in GDocs and you actually make tables. Like you make a table for the government's arguments and for the opposition's arguments, and you're actually like able to write down and recase certain arguments after the debate or after you watch certain videos. Like also I say that it's good for you to watch videos in Westdeche or, for example, videos of debaters that have pursued their career for a long time. It's also very much accessible in YouTube. But lastly, what's important is for you to have practice because practice makes perfect, people say. So it's important for you to have practice with coaches. I believe that in Tujupolo, there's like this schedule, right? In practicing with coaches, you can also practice with your friends or even find sparring partners that to become better. But in order for you to, for example, better your own speech, what can you actually do? You can actually like practice simply in front of the mirror or record your speech in your gadget or laptop, then replay the video and like see any kinds of errors and things that you actually want to fix in order for you to become better. And more than that, the most important thing is for you to believe in yourself. This is what is the key and essential thing to debating, because in my career, in my journey, I've told you that there were many competitions in which I didn't break, in which my speeches were under time. I felt that I couldn't fix myself. This is something that's like very bad. But as Rachel told you, like you don't compare yourself with others, you just believe in what you have, and mental health is what's also important. That's why you can take time for you to, have a break and all those things that Rachel probably already told you in the previous session. So with that, I'm going to move on to the second thing that I'm going to discuss, which is about academic life. The topics that I'm going to discuss is about my school, what is the background, and also my own targets and my studying style. How do I like manage my time? Lastly, how to actually save time and cope with this jam-packed sessions, especially amidst this pandemic with PJJ and all those kinds of things happening. So my own school is SMN Jakarta. As you probably know, the school is very competitive. The students are just too smart for me. And like getting A's in SMN 8 is very hard, especially with extremely difficult problems in tests and also the scoring system, which obliges you to find more problems to become better, for example. And also in Delapan, there's also like multiple organizations that have to be run too, and most students usually have one position. That's why at one organization, that's why like people who don't join an organization usually is named with the word non-sup or non-supsi because you don't want to associate yourself with organization. And currently in SMN 8, I am in IPA, but honestly, it wasn't really my aspiration. I like IPS more. There are many moments where I feel that IPA lessons are just not for me. That's why it's also harder for me to even catch up with physics, especially because it's something that's harder for me to comprehend. Yeah. So My dream is to get into Fakultas Hukum Universitas Indonesia. As I've told you, I actually didn't really like becoming an IPA student. And because I'm an IPA student, it's really hard to catch up for SNM or to catch up for SBM. But I've consulted with the teachers and they told me that, oh, the statistics actually show that you probably have a great chance. That's why in grade 12, even in like in PJJ and also having NSDC, I still try to give my best because I see that there's a potential that I can, for example, run. I also join myself in tuitions, which is called les. Ya, biasanya sudah pada tahu lah les-les gitu ya, which is on Saturday morning to actually like relearn the EPS materials because I have to learn it from zero while I actually have to also focus on my EPA scores. So in PJJ, my focus is just so diverted, also with NSDC being postponed, and it has really cut quite much time of my grade 12. So how do I actually manage this? And how do I actually become better? And how do I actually manage to thrive in all these kinds of hectic things, but still manage to pull it off? So I think that this is important you have to understand about how do you study the best, how do you actually learn something better. For me, I like to watch videos like in YouTube, or there are like free platforms such as Zenius, and then you want to rewrite the formulas, for example, and I want to like do as much problems as possible in order for me to become better. I also still put effort in finding other problems to practice, because I say that you guys are still in grade 11 or grade 10 is you still have a lot of time in which you can invest, because you're not in grade 12. You don't really have to focus about PTN currently. You can still, explore organizations, you can explore debating and competitions. It's still a huge opportunity that you can actually use. You I believe that everyone like have their own ways of studying. Well, I like to learn by listening to music, awarding myself for studying. Like this is also important because you have to relax. You have to understand that it is not it is a learning process, but it's not a studying process. Because if you only like study physics for the sake of a test, then you're going to forget about all the materials. And the moment that, for example, the test is going to be repeated and the same material is going to be asked again, you probably don't understand at all about the kinds of materials. So you don't just study for the sake of test, but you also want to learn because you understand that a part of my life is also affected by this, and I need to understand about the concepts. Once you actually reach that point, you actually like to learn. You actually don't hate, for example, studying, because it is something that's like good, and it's something that's actually fun for you. Well, for me, I usually study at least 1 hour a day. After PJJ, I take a nap or like watch some movies if I want. And like after I wake up, I like do shower and all those stuff. And after 6, I restrain myself from any other kinds of activities. I only focus myself on studying. But during NSDC, well, I had to cut my watching hours and like start at 2 to 3 p.m. for learning, in which previously I had to start at 6. So it's all about time management. And I think that this is also a great opportunity, because understanding you're still in grade 10 or grade 11, it's a great opportunity for you to actually manage your time. Plus, time management skills is also beneficial for your future. So, adding up, I also like have less in Saturday, right? Which makes like my schedule almost full, which makes like me as if there's no time for me because it's too jam-packed with NSTC practice. It probably just gets worse. But how do I actually manage? Well, I prioritize stuff. For example, after PJJ, I don't like procrastinate. I straightly shower, have lunch, sleep, wake up at 3 to 4. I study until 7, and after 7, we practice for NSDC. In days where there are no practice, then I can use the time to, for example, watch the series that I want, or for example, the things that I've kept in my list. And every Saturday and Sunday, because it's free time, I can spend more time with my family, so everything is covered. Mentally, for my mental support, I try to find friends to talk to or use my own coping mechanisms. But as Rachel told you, that you have to also care about your mental conditions, please find your own coping mechanism, but understand that you don't hurt yourself. You can deal with stress and failure in harsh ways. But if you are doing that, please restrain yourself from that and please love yourself better. Know that you are loved. And if you need help, you can seek for help and you can actually ask for it. You can actually cope with stress in healthy manners. So I think that because you're in 10 and 11 specifically, I think that there's lots of time for you to explore and there's lots of time for you to proliferate. Don't worry if you, like, for example, join competitions and lose. Don't worry if you join competitions and don't even break, or even your speech is like very under time. It's okay. It's a platform for you to actually practice, and it's a platform for you to become better. It's not a platform to be judged, and debate just becomes something that's fun if you enjoy it and if you can actually manage your time with studying and organization. So I believe that, I think that's all that I have to say. I say good luck for your debating journey, and yeah, thank you guys.
Yay! Thank you so much, Jere, for your topic. It was amazing. If you guys have any questions about time management in school, you can ask on the chat or like put it on the link that I've given you in the group. Now we call upon Dazzle to talk about his topic today.
Call upon. Yeah. Okay. That's an assist. Okay, I'll share out something. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Bonfilio Dazzle. Um, so I'm going to be talking about largely about training with and without a coach, specifically without a coach, because I think that's something that I think is very important and what I did in preparation for my own debating. A bit of background about me, just to contextualize what I'm going to say. I'm currently in ACS Jakarta. I'm currently a 10th grader. I just moved in. So I've been debating from 7th grade, but I didn't have a true debater coach until NSDC. So when I was in grade 7, 8, 9, it was just an English teacher, and like the debating isn't as rigorous, I guess. So you guys right now already have a coach, so that's really good. I'll be talking about how you can maximize that opportunity. Okay. So yeah, I'll be talking about training with and without a coach. I think Jere already gave you a lot of tips about how you can train your free time. I'll be emphasizing that a bit more, but also maybe giving you some actionable steps about what's the process of me training, etc. Yeah. Okay, so today I'll talk about two things: training with a coach and why that's important, and then how to train independently, which is also very important. So let's talk about training with a coach first. This is the most straightforward one. Usually coaches who are more experienced can help you pinpoint your mistakes. Like if you give your own speech, there might be things that are wrong with it that you may think, oh, it's just fine. But your coach can look into that and say, oh, this should be improved, etc. That way, if you keep making the same mistakes, for example, your setup kurang bagus, or maybe your arguments are not that elaborated, your coach is the one that will be able to spot those mistakes because they're more experienced. And so you can focus on doing those improvements. That way, your coach is also very adaptable in a way to your questions and your confusions. If you search up things on the internet, like you might not get the answer you want. So being with a coach is the perfect opportunity to ask questions and to ask any confusion if you have to clarify those things, because that way, yeah, they can adapt to your sort of questions. So yeah, I'll just write a few things to keep in mind when you are working with a coach. Largely, the structure or the way they train you is dependent on the coach itself. So it can be very different. In our case of NSDC, we did several sparrings. We sort of also did some drills for Jere, who's first speaker. He also did some drills of doing a lot of speeches at one go. So it's different for every coach. But universally, hal-hal yang penting for things to keep in mind. First of all is take note of feedback. This is very important and I cannot stress this enough. I think having a coach will be very useless if you don't take anything of what they're saying, because that's what they're trying to do to you, right? They're trying to help you and give you a lot of feedback. Jadi example, I wrote here, write it on a big piece of paper as a reminder during case building. Jadi coming up to our own debating experience, me, Rachel, and Jere, like we notice a lot of mistakes that we keep repeating, and our coach keep repeating that same feedback. Maybe things like urgency-nya kurang, atau mungkin argumennya kurang importance, like we don't see what's so important about this argument. What we would do is we would write it on a piece of paper, like really big, and then put it on in the middle of our table during case building. That way, the feedback that your coach gives you will like stay in your mind as you case build. This is important because like the only way you can use feedback is to sort of apply it in your actual case building, etc. So that's the first thing, and that's the most important thing. The second thing also is, again, you should clarify any misconceptions. I will say that I don't usually do this a lot because I am also very intimidated by some coaches as well. Rachel does this a lot. She always asks questions, and that's the best way to sort of um, work with the coach, right? So yeah, you can ask even small things, for example, like what should my argument be, or like can I add this to my rebuttal? Even small things that you suddenly think of and that may be useful, but you don't know for sure, tell that to your coach first. Because it can sort of go two ways. Kaya you might think of something that's good, but when you tell it to your coach, they think, this is not that strategic. You should try to scrap it and like not use it in the future. But it can also be the other way around. There could be some ideas or arguments that may be really good, but because you don't tell your coach and your coach doesn't help you build that argument, it's going to be wasted. So it's a shame for you to not, it's kind of apa ya, sayang gitu. If you don't ask questions with your coach, especially because they're there to help you, etc. So you can ask about your arguments. Of course, as much as possible, I think a lot of coaches will they're not going to just tell you everything all at once. I think they are going to convince sort of ask you to try and think about it yourself. So that is a good way to sort of practice thinking about arguments or thinking about elaboration, etc. So that's everything about working with a coach, and that's coach dependent training. Now coming to like the big stuff, which is independent training. I think this is very important to do as well. So you keep engaging with debate without your coach. Okay, usually you meet your coach like weekly, maybe like once a week. But then you'll have like 6 other days of the week where you might want to mix in some debating practice, even if it's just like an hour or 30 minutes. I think that's very beneficial for your growth as a debater. That way, your improvement itu kayak nggak dependent on a coach. Your improvement can be at your own pace, and you can use that time to sort of improve by yourself. Okay, so I'll just give very straight up what I did to practice by myself. This was before province selection. So there are two methods here. The first is I would go to a website. This is when I was still first speaker. So I would go to a website that has a lot of debate motions. One of them is hellomotions.com, really helpful. You can search up keywords. So if you like something about environment, then search up environment, and then there will be a lot of motions of environment. If you like law, for example, you can do the same, and then everything about criminal justice keluar. That, or you go to this other website called bddebate.blogspot.com. What I would say is that you just take a random motion, take a random side, and then you case build by yourself. This is important because I feel like in a good team, as much as possible, it shouldn't be too dependent on one person who's like helping all the arguments. That at least you're able to come up with your own assertions, or you can come up with your own few ideas that can be developed as a team. But there will be times where your like teammate is focused by themselves, they're writing on their paper, and like you cannot bother them, and like you're on your own to try and case build and write your own arguments. So this is the importance of this case building practice. I will say you pick a motion and then you case build for 25 minutes. In Asian parliamentary, you usually get 30 minutes, but in this case, 25 minutes is best because realistically, in every competition, like 5 minutes pasti kebuang. Maybe you're like stressed out about the motion launch, so you have to read the motion first, or maybe you feel really unconfident, for example, so you need to process that. That's what the 5 minutes are for. So the 25 minutes is how you practice for case building. What's also helpful is that if you practice for 25 minutes and maybe you don't get stressed out in the first 5 minutes, then the last 5 minutes that's not used but for this case building can be used to, for example, ask your teammates like, oh, is this already good enough? Or you can sort of talk with them and ask, what things am I missing from my elaboration? That's the first method. You case build for 25 minutes. In the province selection of NSDC, this is what happens as well, right? Like you are individual and then you get a topic and then you just case build for 30 minutes. The second method is finding debate videos on YouTube. And here I just wrote down a list of really good debate competitions with really good debaters. And this is your biggest resource as a debater because it's like having a sparring partner for free and like having someone to debate with you without actually making an effort to contact them. So I'll talk about that a bit in the second slide. Yeah. So it depends on what type of speaker you are. If you're a substantive speaker, like first speaker or second speaker, then I suggest you look at the motion in the description box, for example. Then you do case building for 25 minutes, and then you deliver and record your speech as a prime minister. I think recording is also very important. Like you get used to sort of maybe there's a pressure for you to like show your camera when you're speaking, for example, in online debating, or also like you can send the recording to someone else, to your senior if they want to check, or to your coach. Or even if you just let your recording just stay there on your computer, it's totally fine. But that recording process is important, I think. Like I have a folder filled with my debate recordings. Like I do nothing with it, but it's still helpful to record. Or if you want to practice rebutting, then you watch the video first, like the prime minister, and then you write down their arguments in your rebuttal, and then you deliver a speech for the opposing side. So that's how you do it for a substantive speaker. For a whip speaker, like it's like placing yourself in the debate. Jadi if you're a government whip, so you listen to first gov, first gov, first op, second op, and then it's your turn. So you practice as if you're in the real debate, and then you write and record your speech, etc. Or if you're doing just normal case building, usually kan third speaker talks about clashes, maybe what are the arguments that may come up, and what you can rebut. So it's also good to practice thinking of clashes during case building time. But the most crucial step for this process is the thing I wrote really big at the bottom. Don't forget to compare with the video. So if you get a prime minister position, compare yourself to the prime minister in the actual video. This is like free training because usually the prime minister is someone really good. For example, if it's like NEDC or like any other competition, they're really good, right? So you can compare yourself with that person, hopefully not to get your confidence down, but to sort of like look at what they did right and what you're missing in your speech. Misalnya, like they had some good rebuttals that you didn't bring, or maybe you can write down those rebuttals, or they have good arguments or good examples. Maybe you can write down those arguments and examples. That way, you can use it for future rounds or the tournament di masa depan, for example, right? So that's important. This is the active way of how at least I did independent training. I do suggest that you do this probably like weekly. If you're like really serious about competition, maybe more often. But of course, we have to balance academic and debating life. Of course, I think Jared already talked about that. So try to use this method, but use it sparingly, of course. The last thing to say here is there are passive methods of learning. Jere already talked about this. Read a lot. Go to Google News is the most accessible one. You don't have to pay for anything. Like I hate it when I have to pay for New York Times, so I don't read it. It's not worth it sih. Tapi kayak if you really want to, you can do it. Search up random stuff you're interested about. If you don't know a lot about economics, maybe you just suddenly want to search up what's an angel investor, what's a stockholder. Like I don't know those things. I might search it up. And you could subscribe to educational YouTube channel. YouTube is the best method, at least for me. It's just videos pop up on my feed, box videos sort of randomly pop up, and there can be educational. Siapa tahu ada argumen yang you can write, and you can write it down, and it can be helpful. The second thing I think to say is also watch debate videos, even if you don't want to do this method. Like even if you don't want to do the uh, case building method, you can just watch debate videos in your free time if you have any time. Just like look at how they debate maybe, or any other examples or arguments that may be useful. Like randomly search up WSDC, and maybe in the future you will get a topic or a motion that's very similar. Kan argumennya bisa dipakai lagi. So that's where the benefit of having debate, even if it's not your debating time. Kayak you engage with it in your free time, in your own time, in your own pace. That's where it becomes very beneficial to you. So that's it for my sort of talk here. Thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity. I hope you guys will be amazing debaters. Happy debating.
All right. Thanks, Dazzle. Thank you so much, Jere. So right now we're going to have a Q&A. We have one question, but it's already really packed. I think we'll have enough time to answer this. So give me a second. This is the one big question. What is Jere? Okay. Jere, if you can nyalain video ya, but if you can't, okay. Okay. Add spotlight. Yay. Okay. So the question, hey Ka, I have a few questions to ask. These questions aren't specified to which speaker, but firstly, how do you maintain panic attacks during debate? Second, I'm actually the type of person who is gak enakan, so to confront someone and make rebuttals in debate is quite hard for me. How do I minimize that feeling? Thirdly, how do you get good chemistry in case building? Thank you so much, and congratulations for winning the competition. Thank you. Maybe I'll answer the first question, yeah, and then the second and third, you guys terserah.
Okay.
For how do you maintain or manage, manage panic attacks? Firstly, panic attack is an actual mental illness. So I don't think you get panic attacks just because of emotions. It's just you panic and get anxious, because panic attack is like a different thing. You can search it up. Panic attack is like a different kind of symptom of mental illness. So don't use that term so much, because probably it's just you panicking or you getting anxious, because panic attack needs to have like a certain diagnosis whether or not you are actually getting a panic attack. Moreover, if you are panicking or getting anxious, firstly, keep it to yourself. Don't bash it to your teammates like, oh my god, I cannot do this, it's really hard, or something like that, because it's going to destroy your teammates' mentality also, knowing that they also know the motion is hard. For example, we got a motion about Israel and Palestine. To be honest, right now, to be frankly honest, I was like, I have no idea what to talk about. but yeah, don't talk about it with your teammates, keep it to yourself. Well, we all taught you that if you have problems, talk about it with your teammates, but this is not the case, because when you're panicking and when you're anxious about emotion, most likely your teammates are also as panicked. And what you can do is try to calm each other and just answer questions that we have given you, like the templates, like what is the importance, what is the problem, things Kak Leon have told you, just answer that one by one. You don't have to have pressure to know everything. Answer the burden of proof first and whatnot. But yeah, pertama kali sih, you have to understand the motion and digest the motion. I think we have talked about this before with Kak Leon. Each bite word by word. What is economy? What is improvement? What is the definition of government? What is feminist movement and whatnot? So at least you understand the motion first. At least you don't debate about the wrong position. Um, I think, yeah. I think we cannot remove our panic attacks or like kinds of our anxiety because we, like the NSDC team, champion, whatever, is also having anxiety and panic situation when we're debating because motions are really unpredictable. Sometimes we don't learn about it. Sometimes we um, print so much materials and we learn so much things. Terus ternyata motionnya nggak keluar. Ya, and malah motion yang aneh yang super abstrak kayak this household mandate cremation. Like what is that? But like ya hasilnya jelek sih. Kayak debatnya jelek. But at least we did it and we won sih. Cuman kayak it was But it's okay. Yeah, I think second and third question, you guys.
Okay, sure. I think that I want to add up about the first thing because usually yang paling panik tuh first speaker if you get a very weird motion yang aneh banget. I think that personally the moment that you have the motion then you are very confused kayak udah pakai bahasa Indonesia aja kayak bingung banget gitu tentang mosinya kayak tenang dulu, terus kayak coba mikir kira-kira apa ya, coba dihubung-hubungin gitu kayak kira-kira mosi ini tuh hubungannya dengan aktor-aktor ini atau misalnya dengan tokoh si A, B, C gitu loh. Jadi kayak why is the screen changing? Intinya kayak coba tenang dulu, terus coba paling kalau udah bingung banget sampai nggak tahu mosinya apa, ini deh pikirin, kira-kira siapa aja sih actors yang terlibat gitu. Kalau udah, coba kayak ditarik garis gitu kayak, oh misalnya ini ke sini, dia tuh bisa ngasih ini, terus misalnya si dia tuh bisa ngasih ini, akhirnya nanti kayak mulai ketemu garis-garisnya gitu kan, dan mulai ketemu gitu, ada argumen yang sebenarnya bisa dibawa gitu. For the second question, kayak I'm actually the type of person who is nggak enakan, cuman harus berubah aja sih. You just have to change your mindset bahwa ini tuh kan suatu competition di mana as a team, yang as a team dulu ya, nggak enakan sama tim sendiri gitu. As a team, goal kalian itu pengen yang terbaik. That's why itu juga harus ada sih rasa sama gitu loh bahwa we're in this competition for the sake of winning. So if there are little conflicts, it's not because there's like personal marah, tapi it's because you want the best case gitu. That's why like there are disputes that happen between me and Rachel waktu lagi case building, and it's completely fine karena kita mau case yang paling bagus tuh lah yang dibawakan. Jadi kalian sebagai suatu tim coba bangun dulu bonding yang bagus. Gimana cara bonding yang bagus? Gampang kok, kayak ketemu aja tiap hari di Zoom. Just tuh ngobrol-ngobrol aja misalnya. Itu kan udah mulai kebangun chemistry-nya. And then at that point, kalau ada jadi yang ada kesel lah atau apalah, bisa diomongin bahkan. Tapi kalau misalnya dalam debat khusus gitu, kayak harus dihilangin dulu gitu rasa bahwa, look, this is to win. Jadi kita juga kalau, terus misalnya you also ask about making rebuttals in a debate. Jadi ya you just make a rebuttal as if lu tuh bukan mau nyerang orangnya gitu. You're not attacking the person, but you're attacking argumen yang dia bawakan. You're not saying that the person is bad. You're just saying that the argument itu bisa ada rebuttal yang ngalahin itu gitu. So itu sih kayak coba di shift perspektifnya bahwa it is not personal gitu, tapi ini sesuatu yang sebenarnya untuk menang gitu kan. Karena kan ya dalam lomba harus ada pemenang dan harus ada yang kalah. Itu fakta gitu. Jadi coba di-shift aja perspektifnya.
Yeah, okay. I'll just add on a bit, yeah, because I think Jerry and Rachel did a wonderful job of answering it. Particularly about the third point, yang kayak good chemistry in case building. I think this is very important as well, because I think we did only meet up for like 2 months, so I think our chemistry is already pretty good. What I will say, again, emphasize what Jerry told you. Don't take it personally, especially if your teammate is telling you like, oh, this is not good, or it's not good enough. Kayak, but also have the mindset of continuously helping each other gitu. Jadi if you're a person yang kayak point out the mistake, kayak oh ini salah atau ini kurang benar elaborasinya, try your best to help them and tell them where they can improve. This is very important biar nanti kayak kesannya you're not just bringing the team down by saying everything sucks and like we cannot have a case. Tapi you're also trying to help the team to be better, and that's important. Again, don't take it personal. Rachel and Jere fight a lot in case building. Tapi kayak it's fine, right? Like nggak kebawa to their personal life and their relationship, etc. Yeah. Secondly, bond outside of being teammates and being debate. I think kita ini fokusnya we're as friends, not as necessarily teammates anymore. Like I don't know how the selection for teams work in SMA 70. Maybe it's random. No, like maybe it's chosen for you. Maybe it's like you choose by yourselves. But try to talk with your teammates outside. Make a WhatsApp chat. Go to Zoom sampai jam 10 malam or whatever. And like talk about your issues. If you have any problems with school, do it with them. They're always there for you. That way, when you go into a competition, ini sebagai friends that already know about each other and know how each other works. The last and most important thing about case building is you need to be clear on what each person does or will do. Kayak there are some moments where this person misalnya nggak mau diganggu sama sekali, don't do it to them. So I think it should be clear from the start gitu loh kayak, okay, I want to do this. Sometimes you have to be very strict with your teammates for good chemistry. Like you tell them, okay, I'm going to focus on my own case. I won't be hearing what you guys are saying. Jadi having clear lines in case building is also really important. It will make the case building process way easier gitu.
I think to clarify aja, so when the Azil told you that if I want to be alone, don't disturb me, doesn't mean that you will be alone the entire 30 minutes. So I have explained this before. Jadi waktu itu remember when there's Nayara and others yang nanya tentang case building yang pokoknya last week I think yang beberapa doang yang ikut. So basically what we do is pertama kita mikir sendiri dulu, yang 5 minutes yang Dazzle bilang yang panik, semuanya itu kita handle diri sendiri dulu. Terus kita nyoba bikin setup dan sebagainya, technical stuff lah. And then baru kita ngobrol. Nah di ngobrol itulah waktu untuk kita berantem. Nah berantem itu harus konstruktif dan jangan yang kayak, gue ini jelek banget gitu. It has to be, okay, I think it's not strategic because ABCD. Sometimes it is heated. Once kayaknya gue ingat banget, kita ngedebatin tentang definisinya doang. Tapi kayak kenapa definisinya kayak penting banget. I think ini tentang definisi apa ya, Das? Lupa deh gue. Tentang,
meaningful work bukan sih?
Meaningful work. Itu kan aneh banget ya kan guys. Meaningful work. What is meaningful work? Terus nggak ada konteks slide-nya lagi. Terus ya udah akhirnya kita nanya ke educators-nya, okay, meaningful work adalah ini. Tapi gue masih bingung. Jadi kita debat lagi kayak, ini tuh meaningful work apaan sih gitu. It took like 5 to 7 minutes. Tapi because of that, kayak jadinya our case tuh rapih gitu loh. And lawan kita malah salah case-nya. I think it's because they don't even talk about their definition. And case mereka super salah kayak kebalik gitu ceritanya. And like it's probably a different motion for them gitu. And yeah, kayak sometimes we have to manage time dan sebagainya. Tapi setelah perdebatan itu, Jere akan misah sendiri gitu. Like for 10 minutes. And then Dazzle and I will talk about few things like extension, terus rebuttals, framing, and then we separate ways juga. Biar gue bisa bikin my extension, bisa prepare rebuttals, terus Dazzle bisa prepare his clash and whatever. Baru in the last minute, kita kayak recap, like, okay, what are you going to talk about? I'm going to talk about ABC, terus kayak gue pikir kayak, I think it's kurang strategic deh, tambahin elaboration, tambahin contoh, dan sebagainya. And then that's it. Well, it needs work, nggak bisa cuma sekali doang, terus kalian bisa kayak gitu. Kayak a few times kita juga masih kebablasan, that's why kita harus selalu ada timer, karena kalau kita bablasan terus. But moreover, good chemistry, I think the first thing you should do adalah talk about your feelings about each other and talk about your dreams. Waktu pertama kali kita kenal itu kita langsung kayak, okay, pertama kali Zoom dan pertama kali ketemu itu kita langsung ngomongin kayak lo mau apa sih di NSDC gitu? What do you want to win? What do you want to achieve in NSDC? Because pasti beda banget. Since Dazzle kelas 10 and he's new, terus gue dan Jere udah kelas 12 and it's our last chance to win NSDC. Jadi for me, I want to get the certificate for school, for university, for everything, for opportunities basically. And Jere also want to have NSC for like opportunities to get PTN, SNMPTN and stuff, but dia nggak mau WSDC or World Schools Selection. Tapi I mau juga World Schools Selection. Jadi I mau banget masuk 15 best speaker gitu. And for Dazzle, I don't know, you want to do your best so that you don't disappoint us because we're in the last year.
Itu ngakak banget, yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I said. I didn't have anything to say ya. Kayak when I saw their dreams were like so big, terus gue kayak, aduh nggak enak banget. Yeah, but I basically said like, yeah, kayak I was inspired by WSDC, so I just wanted to do my best. Yes.
Yeah, and he did, and he got the first best speaker. Yay. Nah, terus dari situ kan kita udah tahu, we know each other, kayak okay, my ambition emang gede, Jared's ambition emang gede. Jadi kalau kita work hard and kita under pressure and kita stress dan kita lebih tense, mungkin kayak it's more wajar lah, because there's a lot of pressure. It's our last year, so we don't have any chance anymore for NSDC next year. We're probably going to university or something like that. So yeah, emang sometimes gue sama Jared banyak banget pressure and tense banget karena kita belajar bla bla bla. Compared to Dazzle yang masih kayak okay, masih jauh lebih santai. Even though sekolah dia susah. I mean he's in like ACS, but kayak kalau he failed this year, like the opportunity cost will be not that big. He has another next 2 years. Makanya untuk kalian it's like good because you have 2 years to prepare. Next year kalian bisa aja NSDC walaupun kalian kelas 11, kelas 10 masih kelas 10 semester 2 itu masih bisa banget karena gue juga kelas 10 semester 2 baru mulai. Moreover, tentang confronting someone, basically gue tuh jahat banget sih kalau lagi debat. Kayak I'm like a devil. Like gue bener-bener jahat banget kalau debat. Maybe you can watch my videos kayak your arguments are realistic. Like weak mechanism, kayak those kind of words yang degrading banget sebenarnya, yang kayak ugly gitu, kayak your logic is stupid gitu. tapi dibungkus dengan cara yang politically correct, kayak your mechanism is weak, your case is like unclear, or your stance is weird or something like that gitu, which is normal. I feel like I think I do it, Dazzle and I do it more often because we're response speaker, so we can respond to a weird argument. And it's normal. In real life tuh sebenarnya kita baik-baik aja. Dazzle is really kind and understanding. He's not mean gitu kan. Tapi kayak in debating emang kayak harus jahat, because the meaner you get in terms of politically correct ways, like you have higher scores because you are able to call out the weirdness of your opponent, or like the mistakes and the missing things from your opponent. So yeah, your debating is not your personality, so it's just a part of performance. Kayak kalau lagi nyanyi, it's not that, for example, kayak Katy Perry cuma pakai BH celana dalam, it's not that she's slutty, it's because it's her performance. In real life, she's just a virgin or something like that. So basically kayak gitu sih contohnya, which is kind of weird, like a weird contoh, but you get what I'm saying. Is there anything Jerry and Dazzle want to add?
I want to add something else for the gak enakan part. Kayak just be assured bahwa your opponent gak akan take it personally kok, because it is a debate. They know that you're gonna attack them in some way. So like Rachel said, yeah, package it in a very politically correct way. Nobody's gonna be angry at you as long as you don't like laugh at the opponent's case. As long as you're not jahat-jahat amat saying it's stupid, it's gonna be fine, I will say. Like you can call their case weak, you can call their arguments are not well elaborated. Pokoknya there are ways of calling out someone without being mean. So yeah, in terms of rebuttals, it is necessary. Even though it might be quite hard at first, I think it improves over time.
Yep. Okay, Jared, do you have anything to add before we close this meeting session?
I think that's good. Udah.
Okay, that's good. Probably Jere and Dazzle have already something to do. We're all busy people. So yeah. Jadi I hope you guys get a lot of inspiration from the topics that we talk about today. for mental health, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to your friends. For practicing, you can ask Kak Leon. You have ways, you can actually ask Kak Leon without like kayak di luar practice gitu. Kayak nggak apa-apa, ya dia paling late response, but she will obviously help you. You can ask me, Clarissa or Deja, in terms of debating in 70. And you can actually practice by your own. It takes a lot of time. Jangan selalu procrastination. Jangan selalu procrastinating, I mean. Watch YouTube videos about procrastinating, learn about yourself. Try to improve as much lah. You guys masih kelas 10, you just started debating. You have a lot of chance to improve. Jangan langsung menyerah dulu. We know emang awalnya nggak enak banget knowing that you're clueless of everything. You don't know so much things about debating. Terus di lomba nggak pernah menang, is always losing. Yeah, it's a part of process, and I hope from what we have talked about, there's a lot of process and a lot of effort that we put into debating and practicing in order to achieve our our titles. So yeah, I think that's for today. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Dazzle. Thanks, Jere. Thank you, Miss Desi and Mr.
Thank you,
Fal.
everyone.
See you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.